Hi everyone, it's Rax finally bringing you the guide on the Super Rat Necro. It's going to be absolutely incredible for Season 20 because they can cube 3 weapons and get a massive damage boost. Now, one thing that I'm asked all the time is, Rax, I built the Rat Necro and my Rat Necro does 1,000,000 damage like you said it would, but it's squishy. What can I do? That's just the nature of the beast. This build is squishy. It's not great for hardcore in return for massive damage, so just keep that in mind when you're making it. For the weapon, we have Scythe of the Cycle. Now, you can either wear Scythe of the Cycle or Tragouls, whichever one you get better, and then cube the other one. And our secondary skills, meaning our mages, are going to deal 400% increased damage while we have Bone Armor active, and we'll always have it up. So just 400% free damage. We want damage, attack speed, and cooldown. Cooldown is important so we can bring our Simulacrum and our Land of the Dead back up to do massive damage. For the offhand, it does not matter what phylactery you use. I'm just showing a lost time, but it could very easily be a Bone Ringer, for example. Crit, elite damage, cooldown, and skeletal mage damage, along with maximum essence, is what we're looking for. If you can only get, let's say, 3 of the things, you need the essence, you need the mages, and you need the 10 crit. For the boots, we want Stewart's Greaves, Int, Bite, Armor, and Skeletal Mage damage is what we're looking for. They're going to make us run way faster when we use our Blood Rush. For the pants, Swampland Waders. The way to get these, either gamble for or craft yellow pants, make a level 1 Witch Doctor, and upgrade those yellow pants in the cube using Recipe 3 on a Witch Doctor because they're Witch Doctor only pants. The reason why we do it on a Witch Doctor is because it's really the only way we can get them, and the reason why we use these pants is they're the only pants that can roll physical elemental damage. If you cannot find these pants to save your life, you could also use Hexing Pants, but when you use Hexing Pants, you have to constantly move around the map to keep that buff up. Physical, Int, Vite, and Armor is what we're looking for, and we're going to sock it with Intelligence so we can deal more damage. For the first ring, we'll take Circle of Nelucia's Evil, which is Julian Love backwards. Now, we want average damage, crit hit damage, and cooldown. The reason why we're skipping crit hit chance is because we are going to get a gigantic boost for crit hit chance from our Z-neck. So when we have the option, that will be the stat that we drop. It's going to make us cast double mages, and they're going to last longer. Now, if you were in the top world group, maybe you could get away with dropping this for a convention of the elements, but for 99% of players, including myself, I'm not going to drop this ring. I would not drop the double mages, and the extra duration is just way too good. And we'll take the Enforcer gem here so we deal 60% more damage. For the other ring slot, we have Crispin Sentence. Again, average damage, crit hit damage, and cooldown. Same thing as before. We'll skip the crit hit chance. We're going to deal 100% increased damage against slowed enemies, or triple that bonus against enemies impacted by other control impairing effects. Our Z-neck is going to freeze everything, so we're always going to have the triple bonus. And I'm going to take Bane of the Trapped here for 60% increased damage. Another option, if you want to, is to take Zaystone. And Zaystone is good because it gives you a damage boost against Juggernauts, which is the only thing that the rats have a little bit of trouble killing. It's up to you. I'm going to run with Bane of the Trap, but Zaystone is good as well. For the belt, we want a Witching Hour. It's going to give us more damage. It gives us attack speed and crit hit damage, and we'll take the Int and Bite rolls as well. For the Tasker and Theos, we'll take the quads, attack speed, crit, and cooldown. And you do not need to get the 50% roll. Any roll on TNT is going to give you the exact same attacks on the mages. So any roll, 40 to 50, is perfectly fine. For the shoulders, we have Raz's Volition, Int, Vit, Armor, and Cooldown is what we're looking for, and it's going to give the Skeletal Mages the Gift of Death rune. These shoulders are not mandatory at all, so if you get any good Ancient pair that has these stats, you can drop Raz's Volition for any other pair. It's not mandatory at all. You have a lot of freedom there. For the helmet, we are going to run Andariels because we have Messerschmitts in the cube, which should give us enough cooldown so we should be able to do whatever we want. If you find that you don't have enough cooldown, instead you could take Leoric's Crown. But we want Andariels because, again, it's the only helmet that can roll physical elemental damage. So we'll take physical, attack speed, skeletal mage, and we'll sock it with a diamond for more cooldown. For the chest, Requiem Seraplate, it's going to increase the effectiveness of our Devour, which is amazing. Int, Bit, and Armor is what we're looking for, and we're going to sock it with Intelligence. For the amulet, if you're just starting out with rats and just getting comfortable with it, I will recommend that you take Haunted Visions, which is going to double the effectiveness of your Simulacrum. If you have a very efficient group and you're able to keep all your buffs up all the time because you're mowing everything down with your Messersmiths, you could switch to the Squirt's Necklace setup, which we'll look at here in just a moment. But if you're just starting out, use Haunted Visions. Physical crit is what we want. We're going to sock it with Legacy of Dreams because this is the gem that makes the whole build work. For every Ancient or Primal Ancient, we're going to get 750% increased damage, and we're going to take 4% less damage. And finally, Reaper's Wraps. When we pick up health globes, we're going to get 30% of our primary resource. There's going to be health globes everywhere. It's going to help us not only stay alive, but it's also going to give us a full essence to cast our mages all the time. Physical, Int, Vit, and Crit is what you want here. For the skills, we're going to take Devour, Satiated. This is going to consume everything that we kill, and it's going to give us more essence, and Satiated is going to increase our maximum life. If you don't want to press it all the time or you don't want to numlock it, you can also take Devouring Aura, which is just going to gobble up everything for you in a little radius around your character. Simulacrum Reservoir, our maximum essence is going to be increased by 100%. That combined with Raylina's Shadowhook is going to make us do much more damage, and combined with Haunted Visions, it's going to last twice as long. It's just going to make us do a lot more damage. Activate this every time it's up. Blood Rush Metabolism, this is just going to let us dash forward, and it's going to let us dash forward twice just to keep up with the pace. Stewart's Greaves is also going to help us move very fast. If you find that you don't need the double dash, you could take the Potency Rune for extra armor. Bone Armor Harvest of Anguish. This is going to give us some survivability and proc our Scythe of the Cycle buff. Harvest of Anguish is going to help us move faster. Land of the Dead Frozen Lands. You can use all of your skills at will for 10 seconds. This is going to let us devour all the time and let us get our mages up at full power. And Frozen Lands is going to freeze everything. You can also take the rune that extends the duration of Land of the Dead, but you won't need it with Messersmiths. And in case something goes wrong with the Z-Neck, the Frozen Lands rune is better because then you can freeze the enemies, survive, and get everything down and proc your Crispin sentence. And finally, the skill that makes it all work, Skeletal Mage Singularity. It's going to consume all of your essence to summon a super powerful mage. So once all of your essence is full, cast a mage. Once all of your essence is full, cast a mage. And it's very important to target with your mages. If you mouse over a yellow and then you cast the mages will target that yellow. You want to snipe the elites more than the trash, so make sure that your mouse cursor is always targeting the elites when you summon these mages. And for the passives, Overwhelming Essence increases our essence by 40, more damage from Raylina's Shadowhook. Final Service is a cheat death. We need this because it's a squishy build. Blood is Power. We're going to get our cooldowns back after we take damage so we can keep casting Simulacrum and Land of the Dead. And Life from Death, we're going to consume corpses, get health globes to stay alive, and get essence from our Reaper's Wraps to cast more mages. Now time for the fun stuff. What do we cube in Season 20? Well, Raylina's Shadowhook, of course. It's going to give us way more damage from all the essence that we're going to have. We're going to cube Tragouls, where cursed enemies are going to take 200% increased damage. And you may say, well, Rax, you don't have a curse anymore on your bars. The Z-Neck will curse everything for us, so we can get the bonus there. And finally, Messersmiths, when we kill an enemy, we're going to reduce the cooldowns of one of our skills. We're going to bring back our Land of the Dead and our Simulacrum all the time, and just be able to just throw mages everywhere to mow everything down. Now, for the Squirts setup, we were running Andariels and Haunted Visions, but we'll take Leorix and Squirts. Leorix is going to give us more cooldown to keep our Simulacrum up, and Squirt's Necklace is going to give us double damage as long as we don't take damage, so you're going to have to dodge pretty much everything. But this setup would be higher damage if you can get away with it. And then if you want to be a super crazy person, you could keep Andariels and go without the extra cooldown if you can keep Simulacrum up. And then the final nutty thing would be to drop Nelusis Evil for Convention of the Elements. but taking away Nelusia's Evil really, really reduces your quality of life in keeping 10 mages up. I would essentially never recommend taking it off. And what about if we want to blast T16? Well, let's get rid of Simulacrum for Bone Spike's Sudden Impact. You may be wondering, why in the hell would I do that? It's only to break doors. Sad as it is to say, it's only to break doors, but the door boss is real for this build. I'd take Leorix for the cooldown, and I would take Flavor of Time because we don't have Simulacrum anymore. So we don't need the damage from Simulacrum, we don't need to keep it up. So we'll just take a Flavor of Time for more damage. And you can pick up a Gold Wrap, so you're immortal now, combined with Boon of the Hoarder. And we don't need Tragghouls anymore, and we're not going to have the Z-Neck anyway, so we'll take Avarice Band just to pick up all the gold, pick up all the globes, run super fast, and just mow everything down. You'll see in the footage that this build is incredible for T16. And finally, for the Paragon points. First, max your movement speed like always, and then put the rest into maximum essence until it's full, so Raylina's Shadow Hook makes you do more damage, and then pump the rest into intelligence. For offense, take cooldown reduction and then crit hit damage, and then attack speed and crit hit chance last, because remember, the Z-Neck gives us crit hit chance. We'll take armor, then life, then resist all, and then life per second, and then area damage and resource cost first, and then life per hit and gold find. So that's it, guys. That's the Super Rat Necro. Let me take you into a T16 clear, and let me take you into a rat run where both times I did not have good gear, and I did not have any augments whatsoever, and you're going to see we trash both of them effortlessly. Alright everyone, let's see what this build can do in T16. Oh, we have a door right from the start. I knew it. That's why we bring Bone Spike's Sudden Impact. Another thing you can do is you can try to cast mages on the doors, but I find that to be extremely unreliable. But we have a terrible map, so you can still see what is capable of here, and I don't even have the right gear. In fact, I'm wearing an Ingeom instead of one of our scythes, and I don't have any augments, and nothing is completely right about this build here, but it doesn't matter. You can see, you just teleport around everywhere, you run at the speed of light, and your mages just one-shot everything for you. You don't even have to aim. It's just how fast can you run through the rift. This is why on the tier list this was ranked as the second fastest build, only being beat by a monk, because nothing in the world can beat a monk. But it's kind of tough to beat a build that can teleport through walls, runs at the speed of light, and just blows up everything in the room just by being in there. There's a lot of doors in this one. Look at this godly jump. Wow. That's the money jump right there. Well, we're greeted with another terrible map. Surprise of the century, but the strategy is just the same. You just keep casting Land of the Dead and just run forward with your 10 mages, and everything's going to die. And you see we have Nemesis Bracers instead of Reaper's Wraps. And I should have mentioned that I also switched a bit of my passives just to run faster. We still have the cheat death, but other than that, it's just to move quickly, because even with no augments here, and without great gear, and even without the perfect right spec, you're still able to just detonate everything. And I wish I would have shown you, I wish I would have stood in some of these molten explosions, because once you pick up some gold, you can't die. So, if as long as you keep picking up all the gold that drops from the Boon of the Hoarder with your gold wrap and with the Avarice Band, you're essentially immortal. The Guardian spawns and we one-shot him instantly. Let me show you a rat run now. Alright everyone, let's see a rat run. This is a 109, and we do not have perfect gear, we don't have any augments, and we're still able to obliterate a 109 in 2 minutes, and this isn't even a godly map. We opened a spaghetti. So you can see the true potential of what this composition could do in Season 20 if you had everything perfect and you had some pretty good gear and some pretty good augments. So here's how it works. Biplane is the Z Necro. He's going to go ahead and freeze everything, and he's going to give us a massive chance to crit. Mittens and I are the rats. We're just going to blow everything up. And M3X is going to support us. He's going to make us run faster. He's going to pick up all the globes so we can keep casting our mages. I just cast Simulacrum and Land of the Dead when they're up. I keep my bone armor up. I keep devouring all the time. I cast mages on the elites, moving my cursor over them when it's up, and I blood rush to move forward. And that's pretty much it. You can see everything just dies all the time. Because this season you're going to have Messerschmitts, killing the trash is a bit important to bring back all of your cooldowns. But these runs are very fun. You can just mow down everything. It's very easy to play. One thing that makes a big difference is having a good Z-neck. A Z-neck that has very good gear and very good cooldown, that's able to keep everything frozen all the time, is very important for making these runs work and keeping you alive as the Rat Necro. Now, I have guides for both the Z-neck and the Z-barb that I'll put as a pinned comment and also in the description if you want to play it, and the only change I would make is maybe for the Z-barb incorporating the 2-piece of the Frenzy set so you can get the double shouts. And that's it, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Please like and subscribe if this helped you, and I will see you in Season 20 where we'll all be running the Super Rat runs.